He walked down the long hallway of his work like he had done countless times before. 2,736 times to be precise. He was 8 seconds deep into the 17 seconds it took him to walk as quickly as he could from his office to the elevator. Right on schedule, he thought. He carried only his briefcase and an umbrella he brought with him even when there was no chance of rain. An effective choice. Just before reaching the elevator, he reached out with the umbrella with his right hand. He held it at just the right height, at just the right angle. Using the tip of the umbrella, he pressed the only button on the silver panel directly to the right of the elevator door. Being that he was on the very top floor, there was only need for the one button. He marveled at the simple, yet efficient design every time he looked upon it. Never stopping, he continued to take the last couple of steps towards the elevator, even though it had yet to open. When the doors did indeed begin to part, he turned his body sideways, slid between the doors at a slight curve so when he did come to a stop, he was already facing the elevator buttons. All in the same motion, the pointer finger of his left hand hits the basement floor button. Once pressed, the finger immediately hopped to the closed door button, compressing that as well. He had managed to do all of this before the elevator doors were able to open completely, a daily ritual that shaved 6 seconds off his trip home. He stood perfectly still as the elevator descended. He didn't feel the need to watch the numbers that lit up to indicate what floor he was on. It was far more efficient to just listen for the 7 beeps indicating that he had reached another level in the building, each beep being 7 seconds apart. He felt that all the eye movement would be unnecessary, and he loathed nothing more than excess. After the 3rd chime that told him he was on the 4th floor, he noticed something. In the reflection of the elevator's steel doors, he realized he was 2 inches off center, too far to the left. He cursed himself for not only making the mistake, but also the fact it took him so long to notice. He begrudgingly corrected his position, moving the 2 inches in order to be in the exact center of the elevator. Once he finally reached the basement floor, he counted 2.5 seconds in his head, then walked, again at a sideways angle, through the doors just as they began to open. Stepping out into the parking garage, he began to march his route to his car, relatively pleased with his progress. Though shrouded in near-complete darkness, he was able to find his way without a problem. He wasn't fettered by concerns of losing his way in the dark. He learned long ago how to navigate his route, sometimes completely blind out of necessity. Unlike his co-workers, who would wait around for God only knows how long for a security guard to walk them to their car. Just the thought of such a delay put him into a near panic attack. Just at that moment, he thought he heard something just outside his range of hearing. It took several seconds, but then he realized what it was. The recurrent chimes that reports an open door of a vehicle. To the world, it was simply a monotonous sound. To him, it was a symphony of efficiency, each report coming out exactly when it is due, an irresistible siren song. He allowed himself the luxury of turning his head in its direction. To his right, several rows ahead, he saw the gloom of what could only be the dome light of a car, the light that comes on every time a door is ajar. Despite the late hour, the car park was nearly full, so the car would come in and out of his view as he passed other vehicles. It wouldn't be until he passed another car that the open passenger side door came into view, and something else. Passing another car, it came into his line of sight again. Not only was the door open, but someone was laying half in and half out of the car. He recognized the man right away. Only one person would wear something so ridiculous. An outfit that looked like someone took an entire circus and turned it into a business suit. Mr. Lickshikowitz. Oh, in the name. He couldn't fathom having a name that long. He shuddered to think how much time was wasted writing all that out over a lifetime, which is why he had his own name legally changed to just his initials. Best decision of his life. At first he thought that maybe Mr. Lipschikowitz was having a seizure because his body seemed to convulse intermittently. But only after passing another car he realized that no, he wasn't having a seizure. The circus suit Mr. L wore was torn to shreds. There was blood everywhere. Hovering over the body was what looked to be a massive dog. He couldn't get a good look at it, 'cause his fur was jet black and it nearly blended into the unlit parking garage. It was only because of the dome light he could see it at all. There was something odd about his posture, too. It was almost humanoid, as though the dog was crouching over the body and was eating him. Mr. Lipschikowitz was being devoured before his very eyes. Every bite from the beast caused the body to jostle around. Well, Mr. L won't be making it to work tomorrow, he thought to himself. The gravity of all the work that would be put on his shoulders in Mr. L's absence made him livid. But then suddenly it occurred to him, if the beast saw him, he too would be killed. His seething instantly turned into deep concern. It wasn't until he passed the next vehicle that he was right alongside the scene. The beast had stopped eating Mr. Lipschikowitz and stared directly at him. Eyes of gold shone like twin suns against the black of its fur. They seemed to pierce directly into his soul. Something snapped inside his head, and panic took over. He broke into an all-out run. He was sure the beast was at his heels. He couldn't end up like Mr. L. Fear gave him wings. He ran faster than he ever had in his life, faster than he ever thought he could. Finally reaching his car, with machine-like efficiency, he had the tires screeching through the night in exactly 12 seconds. Completely out of breath, he noted the time. Running had shaved 39 seconds off of his trip home. He made a mental note to run from now on, then mentally berated himself for not having thought of it sooner. The beast hadn't chased him. Perhaps it just didn't feel like it. He was grateful for that. Not because he was afraid to lose his life. No, that wasn't it at all. However, any delay, no matter how small, was absolutely unacceptable. Death would be the ultimate inconvenience, for which he simply had no time for.